everyone. So, I'm going to be really honest with you. I was just taking a really good nap on my couch, but it's been like a 2 hour nap. Um, and my 12 step yogis know that this naps are kind of my thing. I uh, I mean, this week has just been insane. Tuesday night, we had that, tornado. So I was woken up in the middle of the night and couldn't really go back to sleep um, very well, not soundly at least. And last night, I was just really tired. And so I'm really tired today. And that can happen for a lot of us. We get really tired, but our bodies our bodies want to move, especially since we are in this kind of isolation, this quarantine. Our bodies really want to move, and with it being spring and it getting nice outside, our bodies want to move more than usual. So although I'm really tired and I would love to be back on my couch, I'm here showing up for not only you, but showing up for myself because I haven't moved my body yet today. So tonight's practice is going to be about showing up, about finding your mat, finding your space, finding your breath, and moving your body and showing up for nobody else but you. Yes, I'm also showing up for you, but you can't show up if I don't show up. So here I am showing up for you and inviting you to have the intention of showing up for yourself throughout this practice. And so we'll be doing a very basic yoga flow, quite similar to beginners. However, I'll add in a little bit of challenge like I always do, and I'll cue you rather well. So just be safe. If at any time during the practice you feel pain whatsoever, please come out of the pose. I'll do my best to give you as many modifications so that your body feels good in all of the poses as I can, and we'll get started. So find your mat when you're ready. And so today, since the theme of the practice is showing up, we are going to start standing. So I kind of changed the perspective again of things today so that you can see me from both sides. So I'll be kind of turning back and forth on my mat in order to allow for you to see the poses a little bit better from each side. Now, I would love for you to truly show up 100% for your practice and not pay attention to what I'm doing, rather just listen to the cues and kind of feel it within your body. But it's all up to you, and if you're uncomfortable, I wanted to just provide you with a better view. So in order to come into a standing position, we're going to bring our feet hips width apart. And so normally when I say this, I watch my students bring their feet all the way up to here, because we hold so much at our hips, so we think that our hips are this wide. But in order to find hip stiffs for your body, you're going to take the heel of one foot into the arch of the other. So this is just how to start, how to begin. And then this foot that has the heel in, you're going to drop into the ball of that foot and turn those toes forward, and that's hips width for your body. So coming here, we're just going to gently sway right to left, beginning to find the four corners of our feet to kind of lock down and settle in to the position that we're in. So gently swaying left and right until we find that center within our body, and you'll feel your body begin to settle in the center. And when it does settle there, begin to lean forward and back as you find your center this way. And again, you'll notice your body begin to settle when you have found that center. And then we're going to take out the slightest little micro bend in the knees. So not a very deep bend, but just a tad of a little bit of a bend, just to give your knees that unlocked sensation. And then we're going to take one hand, the palm of our hand, to our belly button, fingers point down, and the other palm of our hand to the hard part of our low back, known as our sacrum, fingers point down. So I'm going to turn this side just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So we want to direct the tailbone down towards the floor, and this bone between our hands, this is known as our pelvic bowl. So we want to kind of bring the front of the pelvic bowl up in towards our belly button, just very slightly, just enough to take the tailbone down towards the floor. If the tailbone is kind of pointing to the back of the mat, the front of the pelvic bowl is kind of tucked under. And if there were to be water in this bowl, all of the water would fall out the front, right? Well, if our tailbone is tucked too far under, then the front of our pelvic bowl would be too far up and the water would fall out the back. So it's really fun. It's nice because I do have the camera in front of me so I can kind of see the perfect movement, but you can kind of move through this, kind of moving the tailbone and the pelvic bowl to find the tailbone down towards the floor and the front of the pelvic bowl kind of slightly tucked up, just so that bowl is nice and even. So there's no water that would fall out of my bowl at all here. So once you have that figured out, we're going to take our hands to our hips and we're going to kind of draw our body out of our hips because we tend to sink down throughout the day. We're going to take our hands to our ribs and kind of draw our body out of our ribs. And then we're going to roll our shoulders up to our ears and then roll them down and back, bringing the hands to the side, palms face forward. Energy shoots through the fingertips and the fingers spread nice and wide. So try not to flex your wrist back or forward here. Let your wrist be kind of even as if you were bringing your hands out so that the wrist is not flexed forward or back. And then our chin is parallel to the floor beneath us, so it's not tucked and it's not lifted. And when we find that parallelness, we're going to kind of take the head back a bit because that's going to lengthen through the back of our neck. So you're going to kind of take the chin in just a tad and then slightly tuck it. So the back of our neck is so nice and long and extended, allowing for us to reach a little further up through the crown of the head, and imagining that we have a string at the top of our head pulling us up to the sky to lengthen through the body. And then we're going to lift those kneecaps, and our whole body is engaged here, even though we're just standing. We feel like we're not doing anything, but our entire body is engaged. Every muscle in our body is working. Excuse me. And gently close your eyes here and just kind of tune in. So notice the breath coming in and out of your body through the nose. And feel those four corners of the feet rooted down into the mat. And if you can imagine yourself as a little GPS pin dropping down right into your mat, pinning you down in this very moment, right here, right now. Beautiful. Couple more breaths, really settling in. Soften through the forehead, soften through the eyebrows. Let everything settle in. Let the mind become calm, sending off the thoughts of today or this week or the weekend ahead. Beautiful. And on our next inhale, we're going to open our eyes, sweeping our arms up overhead. You're going to grab the left wrist with the right hand. You're going to jut your left hip out to the left, and you're going to reach up and over to the right. So a crescent moon shape, a little deeper than what we normally do. And if you want to bend into the right knee or the left, I would prefer the right knee. If you were going to bend into a knee, go ahead and bend into the right knee to get a little deeper of a stretch. But if you're okay with your legs being straight, then you can keep them straight. Keep in mind, we haven't stretched out anything in the body yet. We've just come to that standing pose. So you might be a little stiff still, and that's okay. And then inhale, come back to center. Grab the right wrist with the left hand. Jut your right hip out to the right and reach up and over to the left. Breathing. So crescent moon shape. The further you jut your hip out, the further you'll be able to bend. Beautiful. Inhale, center, and then we'll go over to the other side. So left hip juts out, reach up and over. If you want to really jut the hip out. But if you do jut the hip out, don't let the shoulders kind of cave in. Keep rolling the shoulders open, lifting the heart up to the sky. So maybe you can't jut out that far in order to keep the shoulders from rolling in. And then inhale, center, and exhale, jut the right hip out and reach up and over to the left. And maybe you notice the difference in each side of the body. Maybe the right side is a little bit more open than the left, or vice versa. Inhale, come back to center, and exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Beautiful. Take a moment, close your eyes, and find some gratitude. Just take a moment to say thank you. Great job. And then we're going to heel toe our feet apart. So I am in the center of my mat. You could be at the front of your mat, or you could be at the center, whatever feels good for you. Either way, go ahead and heel toe your feet apart. Still kind of waking up, and turn the toes and heels out, and take your hands to your hips. So we're going to come into a forward fold here. So we haven't stretched anything in the body out yet. So if you are going to need to bend your knees in this pose, that's perfectly okay. So let's take a big breath in as we stretch up through the sky. And then as we exhale, take the hips back to either the back of your mat or to the corner behind you and fold halfway. So your gaze is going to remain down at your mat. You're going to lengthen through the back of the neck, and the spine is really straight. You're going to breathe into the hamstrings. Those are probably stretching out. So if you want to take your hands down a little further to your thighs, giving a little deeper stretch, take another big breath in, and as you exhale, fold forward. So you can drop your hands down. Again, you can bend deeply into your knees here as you let your head drop. Just take a couple moments here as you hang in this forward fold. So your hands can find the mat. You can bring opposite hand to opposite elbow. You can gently sway back and forth. Do what feels best in your body here. Beautiful. And then inhale, halfway lift. So coming back up to that halfway lift. And so if we're at the center of our mat, we're going to turn the right toes forward, walking our hands over to our right foot. If we are not at the center of our mat and we're at the top of our mat, we're going to heel toe our feet together and send the left leg back. Either way, we're going to come into this right foot forward, right knee over our right ankle and on the ball of the left foot. And then you're going to scooch those left toes back as you gently lower the left knee and uncurl the left toes. And we're going to hold here for a couple breaths. So peace fingers could be on the mat. I want you to engage your core slightly just to support you here so you're not just dumping into everything. So engage the body. Send the right hip back, left hip forward. Starting to stretch through that quad. And then you're more than welcome to stay here. You can take your hands up to your right thigh, getting a little deeper of a quad stretch. Make sure this right knee is directly over this right ankle and not any way forward past the ankle. And if you press into the big toe on the left foot, so that foot behind you, if you dig the nail of that big toe into the mat, you'll start to feel a nice stretch through your left quad. Breathe here. So we start to come into our breath. Deep inhales from the belly all the way up into the chest if we can, and then deep exhales from the chest all the way back down into the belly. In and out through the nose. Beautiful. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you reach the arms up overhead. Breathe and just let your body open. So maybe this is just not really working and you're still on the floor, your fingertips are on the floor, and that's perfectly okay. We're stretching out right now, warming up. Take a big breath in wherever you are and exhale your hands to frame the right foot if they aren't already there. Curl the left toes under, lift the left knee, and then we're gonna walk our hands to the inside of the right foot, drop into the left heel, and come back to that forward fold. So heels in, toes out, gently fold forward. Again, you can bend into the knees if you need. Couple breaths here. And then inhale, halfway lift. So take your peace fingers to the mat, lift halfway, reach the crown of the head forward, and then start to walk your hands over to the left foot. Turn your left toes to the back of your mat now, and turn onto the ball of the right foot. So lift that heel. Make sure your left knee is now over your left ankle. Scoot those right toes back, lower the right knee, and uncurl the right toes. We'll take a couple moments here with our hands on the mat, just letting our body settle in, settling into the pose. Draw your left hip back now, right hip forward. And then staying right here, or you can bring your hands up to your left thigh. So you can dig into the big toe of the right foot, stretching through your right quad now, or your hands can still be on the mat. You can stay here, you can reach your arms up overhead. Ooh, really feeling that left quad here. Keep digging that big toe in if you can. Take another big breath in and exhale, take your hands down to frame this left foot if they aren't already there. Curl the right toes under, lift up this right knee, drop into the right heel as you walk your hands back to the center. Toes slightly in, heels slightly out. This time, let the head drop. Now we're going to inhale, halfway lift. Crown of the head reaches forward. Roll your shoulders down and back. Now turn your heels in, toes out, and take your hands to your hips. We're going to come into a big Buddha squat. So we're opening up the hips. So it come in very slow, lifting up. Heels in, toes out, set that tailbone down towards the floor, reach the crown of the head up, roll the shoulders down and back. Hands can stay at your thighs, they can come to your hips, or they can come to heart center. Couple breaths here. Let the breath fully come in, expanding the belly out, and fully go out, deflating the belly button back towards the spine. Beautiful. And then press into your heels. Really press in. Straighten the legs. Reach the arms up overhead. Turn your right toes forward. Turn your left toes all the way to the left corner of the mat so that your left pinky toes are parallel to the back of your mat. Bend into your right knee so it doesn't come over the right ankle, and extend your arms out, finding your warrior two. So draw your whole pelvic bowl to the right side of your mat so you can lengthen through the spine and reach the crown of the head nice and high, and gaze over that right middle finger. Shoulders are down and away from the ears. If they're feeling really tight, you can turn the palms up and gently bend into the arms. But take a couple breaths as you settle in here. Unclench those toes. Remind yourself you're showing up for you. You're doing this for your body. Inhale, straighten into the right leg, reach the arms up overhead. Turn those right toes to the right corner of your mat now. Turn those left toes all the way to the back of the mat. Bend into the left knee so it goes directly over the ankle. Send those arms out long across your body and gaze over that front left middle finger now. So we're at the back of our mat. We're going to hold here a couple breaths, and then we're going to kind of move with our breath from the front, from the back of the mat to the front of the mat, and then to the front of the mat, back to the back of the mat, and maybe we'll go a few times. We'll see how it feels. But hold here. We want this left knee to be coming out towards our left pinky toe. Keeping that inner left thigh rolling out. Beautiful. Next inhale, press into the left heel, straighten the left leg, reach the arms up overhead, turn the left toes. So the left pinky toe is parallel to the back of the mat now. The right toes are pointing all the way forward. We're coming back into that warrior two to the front of the mat. So we're going to start to move through our breath, and you can engage, you can add the arms in a little extra, which I'm going to do this evening. So take a big breath in and reach the arms up high, straightening that right leg, and a big breath out as you rotate back to the back of the mat. Big breath in, big breath out, big breath in, straighten, lengthen, pivot, big breath out as you settle in. Beautiful. Big breath in, big breath out, big breath in, straighten the right leg, reach the arms up high, pivot, and exhale into your warrior two at the back of the mat. Big breath in, big breath out, big breath in, straighten, lengthen, pivot, big breath out, settle in. Big breath in, last time around. Big breath out, big breath in, pivot, lengthen. Exhale, warrior two to the back of the mat, settle in. Big breath in, big breath out, big breath in, straighten, lengthen, and exhale, warrior two to the front of the mat. Big breath in, big breath out, big breath in. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down, come to the ball of the left foot. Slowly lower the left knee, uncurl the left toes, and gently take this right knee back to meet the left in a tabletop position. So tabletop, shoulders lying over, elbows over wrist, fingers spread wide, and hips come over knees. Our spine is nice and long, our neck is long so that our shoulders are rolling down and back. And we're in this very firm tabletop position, kind of rooting back down. On your next inhale, lower the belly, lift the tailbone to the sky, peel your heart forward, and your gaze goes forward. Keep rolling those shoulders down and back though. Hold here in your cat pose. So here's where we really show up for ourselves. If you're showing up and you're feeling like you need to shake your tail feather, you can go ahead and do so. If you're showing up and you need to shimmy your shoulders, your body's telling you to shimmy, you can go ahead and do so. Take another big breath in, and as you exhale, start to round the spine like a cat on Halloween, taking the tailbone to the floor and taking the crown of the head to the floor. And we're going to hold here a couple of breaths. So if you feel the need to kind of shake your head, no, and shake your head, yes. Or just let the head dangle. You can shake your tail feather here. You can shimmy your shoulders here. Keep drawing the spine to the ceiling, bringing the belly button into the spine. And then we'll move through our poses here using the breath. So inhale through the nose, lower the belly, lift the head and the tailbone. And exhale, curl the spine, tuck the chin, tailbone to the floor. Inhale, cow pose, lower the belly, lift the tailbone, peel the heart forward. Exhale, cat pose, curl the spine, tailbone to the floor, crown of the head to the floor. One more. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. And then inhale, come to a flat back. We're going to walk our hands back towards our knees as we come up onto our knees. So the tops of my feet are on the mat, but you're more than welcome to curl your toes under if that feels good. And we're going to take our hands to our low back, fingers point down. So kind of just above the booty cheeks, fingers pointing down. The elbows are squeezing in towards each other if they were going to touch, which is allowing for the shoulder blades to squeeze in. You're going to draw the hips forward and lift the heart to the sky and keep your gaze to the sky for a camel pose. So keep drawing the elbows together, keep lifting your heart to the sky, and don't let your head really drop back. Keep that neck active, and imagine the crown of the head, which is the top of the head, reaching up and back to the back wall. Breath here will still be in through the nose and out through the nose, but maybe a little short. Take another big breath in, and as you exhale, wrap your hands around the front of the body, coming back into that tabletop. Big breath in into your cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Curl your toes under if they aren't already there. Lift your knees, straighten your legs, set your hips up and back for your first down dog. Beautiful. And then you can bend one knee, and then the other as you start to pedal out your dog, kind of working through the legs. Take a peek up at your wrists. Make sure they are not under your shoulders. So your arms are lengthened and your wrists are not underneath your shoulders anymore. Your chest is going back towards your thighs. Your hips are lifting up and back. And the heels are reaching down towards the mat, but they don't have to be anywhere near there. Next inhale, we'll lift the heels high, bend the knees. Use the exhale to walk the feet up in between the hands as we forward fold here. And then we'll inhale, halfway lift. Like take the hands to the thighs, tuck the elbows into the sides, reach the crown of the head forward, and keep the back nice and flat. So gaze is down at the top of your mat. Breathe here. We're stretching out those hamstrings now. Take a big breath in, and a breath out as you fold forward. Press into the feet. Inhale, reach out and up. Stand up nice and tall. And exhale, fold right back down. Taking the hands right through to center, folding all the way down. Inhale to that halfway lift. Your hands can come to your shins or your thighs. Keep rolling those shoulders back. Keep reaching the crown of the head forward. And exhale, fold. Inhale, reach out and up. Stand up nice and tall. And exhale, fold right back down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bend those knees, take your feet back to that tabletop. Inhale, come up, take your hands to your low back, squeeze the elbows together. Take an exhale here, and then inhale, lift your heart. Camel pose. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, come forward, tabletop. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. As you curl your toes under, lift your hips high and back down dog. Beautiful. So these are Surya Namaskars A. Nice warm-ups for your yoga class. Warming up the entire body using all of the muscles. So we'll run through that one more time. Inhale, lift your heels, bend the knees. Use the exhale to walk your feet up in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach out and up, standing up nice and tall, reaching up nice and high. And exhale, fold right back down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale on your fold. Bend your knees a lot, bring your hands to the mat. Step back to that tabletop. And then inhale, come up onto your knees. Take the hands behind you. Exhale here as you set up. And then inhale, lift the heart, jut the hips forward. Camel pose. Exhale here. Inhale here. Exhale, bring the hands forward, finding a tabletop. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Curl the toes under, lift the hips high, and press back down dog. So in our down dog, we kind of have that cow spine. So our tailbone is kind of drawing like up and back. Our heart is dropping down forward, and our head is dropping down forward. Just a tiny bit of a cow pose in our back. Beautiful. Inhale, lift the heels high, bend the knees. Use the exhale to walk your feet up in between your hands. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach out and up, stand up nice and tall. And exhale, bring your hands to heart center. So we're just gonna run through one more sun salutation, starting Namaskar B, and then we'll come down to the floor and do some relaxing poses and just kind of set up for some stretches for the end of class. So inhale, reach your arms up overhead, stretch up tall, and then exhale, sit back, chair pose. So weight drops into the heels. If your feet are together, then your knees are together. If your feet are apart, then your knees are apart. And your tailbone, again, is going straight down to the floor, so it's not tucked under, and it's not jutting to the back of the room. It's literally coming straight down towards the floor. Your arms can stay out in front. They can come to heart center. We can goal post the arms, whatever feels best. I'm just going to take my hands down by my side, rotating the pinkies in and letting the palms come forward. A couple more breaths here. Beautiful. Next inhale, press into the feet, straighten the legs, reach the arms up high, and exhale, bring your hands to heart center. We're going to keep the right foot at the top of our mat, and we're going to take the left foot back, dropping the left heel at about 45 degrees, so the left toes are now up towards the top left corner of the mat. We're going to bend into this right knee, so the right knee comes over the right ankle. Draw your right hip back, left hip forward. Pull the belly button in and up as you reach the arms up overhead, setting the shoulders down, finding a warrior one. So our feet press down into the mat, and then they pull apart from each other as if we were going to rip the mat beneath us apart. Breathing here. Keep lifting through the crown of the head. Keep letting those shoulders drop down and away from the ears. Breathing in and out. Take a big breath in. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Step the left foot forward to meet the right. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. And exhale, bring your hands to heart center. So now we're going to keep the right foot where it is. We're going to take the left foot where it is. Take the right foot one leg's distance back, dropping the left heel at about 45 degrees. The right heel at about 45 degrees. So right toes are kind of pointing up towards the top right corner of the mat. Bend into the left knee, so the left knee comes over your ankle. Draw your left hip back, right hip forward, and reach those arms up overhead, setting those shoulders down. So if you feel any pain in your left hip as you attempt to draw it back, go ahead and widen your stance, taking the left foot out to the left a little bit more. Breathing here. Really let those shoulders relax. Let the breath just come in and out of the body. Show up here. Be here right now. Don't let your mind wander somewhere else. Take a big breath in. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Step the right foot forward to meet the left. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. And exhale, sit back, chair pose. I'm going to take my arms down by my side again, letting the shoulders relax, rolling the pinkies in towards my body, and sitting the butt nice and low. Take a big breath in. Exhale, sit a couple inches lower. Beautiful. Big breath in. Exhale, sit a couple inches lower. You can do this. Beautiful. Big breath in. Exhale, straighten the legs, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend those knees, bring your hands to the mat. Step your feet back to a tabletop. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, walk your hands up. I think I just added that in. Bring your hands to your low back, squeeze the elbows in, pull the hips forward, lift your heart. Camel pose, feel the collarbones peel apart. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Come forward, hands to the mat, tabletop. Now a cow pose. And now a cat pose on our breath out. Curling the toes under, lift the knees, set the hips high and back for our down dog. Last down dog. Take a big breath in and exhale, lower the knees. And we're gonna cross the ankles behind us. Walk the hands up towards our bodies, sitting the butt back and bringing the legs out in front. So remove the flesh from our sit bones and lengthen through the legs. So toes can curl in towards our body, kind of giving an added stretch to the leg muscles. And we're gonna roll the shoulders down and back, just taking the hands to the thighs, sitting up nice and tall. So our spine is nice and straight. We're not jutting the belly forward and the heart forward in a cow pose, and we're not rounding through the spine for a cat pose. So sit up nice and straight, roll those shoulders down and back. Take a big breath in, and as you exhale, begin to walk your hands forward, folding forward. So again, nice flat back. Goal here not to reach the feet. Goal here to keep the spine super nice and long. Keep the shoulders rolling down and back, and breathe. When you have settled in, you can lower the head if that feels good on your neck. Just take a couple breaths here. And then inhale, just halfway, walk your hands back, and exhale, fold. And then inhale, walk your hands all the way back towards your body. Bend into your knees, bring the bottoms of the feet to the mat. I'm going to scoot forward just a bit so that we can keep the knees bent and take the body all the way back down to the mat. Gently windshield wipering the knees back and forth, kind of massaging out that low back, massaging out the back body. Beautiful. And come back to center. And we're going to keep the left foot where it is. We're going to cross the right ankle over the left thigh. So curl those we're going to cross the right ankle over the left thigh. I'm not sure what I just said. We're going to curl those right toes in towards our shins. And if this is enough for you, if you already feel it in the right hip, you can stay right here. You can take your right hand and bring it to the inside of your right thigh and gently press that right thigh away from your body, if that's intense enough. If you want a little bit more, and by more I mean stretching of this right hip. So if you're feeling nothing in your right hip, you can lift your left leg and you can thread your right arm through your legs, taking your left arm right behind that left thigh as well, interlacing your fingers and drawing the left thigh in towards your body. Maybe now you feel it in your right hip. But relax the back of your head, relax the shoulder blades, relax the back of your neck, and just breathe into your right hip. So hip openers are a really wonderful way to release stagnant energy and emotions that are stuck within the body, also known as samskaras. So close your eyes here and just settle into your breath. The nice deep inhale and the nice deep exhale. Maybe with each exhale, you feel the tension within the body slowly leaving, little by little. Couple more breaths. Take a big breath in. Exhale, release the hold if it's there. Gently set the left foot down if it's up. And uncross the right ankle and gently windshield wiper back and forth. Going back to center, we're going to keep the right foot on the mat now. And we're going to cross the left ankle over the right thigh. So really draw those left toes in towards your left shin. This will keep your left knee happy. And again, if you're already feeling it here, you could stay here. You could take this left hand to the inside of your left thigh and gently press it away, not with a lot of force, very gentle. You could stay here, or you can lift the right leg, interlacing your fingers behind the right thigh, drawing the right thigh in towards your body. Taking a couple breaths here. Maybe you close your eyes and imagine the tension in your hip or anywhere else in your body leaving. And take another big breath in. And as you exhale, lower the right foot, uncross the left ankle, and gently windshield wiper once again. And you could take your arms out to T here. I'm actually going to cactus my arms just because of the limited amount of space I have near me. But you could spread your arms out wide into T. And the next time your knees are over to the right, go ahead and let them fall all the way over there. We want to make sure the left shoulder blade stays rooted on the mat, so if you find it peeling up in any way, lay off the twist a little bit. Your gaze can stay at the center, or it can come over your left shoulder, gazing at your left fingertips. And then inhale, bring the knees back to center, bring the head back to center, and let the knees fall over to the left. Your gaze can stay at the center, can go over to your right fingertips. And then inhale, bring the knees up through to center. Lift your feet off the mat as you take the thighs into your chest. Give yourself a nice big hug, wrapping the hands around the backs of the shins or the backs of the thighs or the tops of the shins, and gently rocking back and forth, kind of massaging out the body. You can bring your hands to your knees and gently circle them in one direction and then the other. Coming back to center, we're going to send the feet straight up towards the sky. So I like to make a triangle with my hands, bringing the tips of the pointer fingers and the tips of the thumbs together. And then I take this and set it just underneath the hard part of the back, the sacrum, so that I can set the legs up a little higher. And then we're working towards stacking the ankles over the knees, over the hips. But if you find yourself right here, that's okay. If you find yourself right here, wherever you find yourself, that's actually perfect. This is just a goal that we may have. And then from here, we can flex the feet or point the feet to kind of work out the ankle joint. We can roll the ankles if that feels good. Just kind of find what feels best in your body. Maybe you just want to stay right here. So this pose is really good for if you're having trouble sleeping and the mind keeps wandering. If you lay here and just kind of let the body settle, so loosen the tension in the shoulder blades, loosen the tension in the back of the head, the back of the neck, really settle in. The mind will begin to calm, the heart becomes a little steady. It can help you sleep. If you're struggling with sleep at the moment, you can even Come up to the wall and use the wall in this pose. Feet up the wall pose. Beautiful. One more big breath in. Exhale, slowly bend into your knees. Draw the knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. So really squeeze. Like really squeeze. And take another big breath in. Exhale, release. Sending the heels to the far corners of the mat. The arms down by your side, palms facing up. Take a moment to shimmy out the hips, shimmy out the shoulders. Let the head rest. Soften the eyebrows, soften the forehead, soften the face. And we're going to take the right hand to our belly, just underneath our belly button. And the left hand is going to come to our left ribs or cross over the body to find the right ribs, whatever feels comfortable. And now we're going to find our 3-part breath. So as you breathe in, feel the hand on the belly rise as the belly fills with air. And just focus there. And as you breathe out, feel the belly fall back down towards the spine. So just focus on your right hand, lifting with the inhale and lowering with the exhale. See if you can keep the breath coming in and out through the nose. Lifting with the inhale and lowering with the exhale. And now, as you breathe in, feel the right hand lift and feel the left hand on your rib. Feel the ribs fill up with air as that left hand goes out to the right or the left, depending on what rib you have it on. And then exhale, the ribs pull back into the center, and then the belly button falls back towards the spine. So focus on that 2-part. Inhale, the right hand lifts. And the left hand goes out to the right or left, depending on which set of ribs you have on. Exhale, the ribs pull back into the center, and the belly button falls back towards the spine. And now take your right hand to your chest. So imagine this is where having 3 hands would really come in handy. So imagine that your right hand is still on your belly, and as you breathe in, the right hand that was on the belly lifts. Then the left hand goes out to the right or left. And then the hand on the chest, the right hand now on the chest lifts too as you breathe in at the very top of the inhale. And then exhale, the hand on the chest drops down, the hand on the ribs comes back to center, and the belly button falls back towards the spine. So our 3-part breath. Couple rounds here. Last one. Now send your hands back to your side and see if you can still feel that breath, that 3-part breath. The belly fills up first, then the ribs expand out to the side, and then the chest lifts. And then as we exhale, the chest falls back down, the ribs pull back into the center, and the belly button falls back towards the spine. One more time. And then release that 3-part breath and just let your breath flow evenly in and out through the nose. Let your body rest. Nothing left to do, nowhere left to go. Just let your body settle in here. And then wiggle those fingers, wiggle those toes. We're going to take the arms and wrap them around our body as if we were giving ourselves a nice big hug. And we're going to squeeze really tight, thanking ourselves for showing up this evening, thanking our bodies for this movement. Also showing ourselves some self-love. And then bend into your knees, bring the bottoms of the feet to the mat. Let your knees fall over to the left, releasing the arms and using your left arm as a pillow. And just bringing your right arm down in front. Just taking a couple moments here. So on this left side of our body, this is the side of our body's digestion. So anything we may have released through our practice this evening can now have like a further initiation that it's okay for it to go. The body no longer needs to hold on to it. And then bringing the right hand down in front, using the strength of the right hand and the ease of your breath to rise yourself up to a seat. Maybe you can keep the eyes closed. And just a gentle seated position here. Legs gently crossed, hands down on our knees, sitting up nice and tall. Let those shoulders roll down and back. And gently closing the eyes if they have popped open a bit. Just taking a moment to notice the body. Kind of gauging how you feel since the moment you stepped onto your mat. Noticing where your mind's at, where your body's at. And then taking your hands back to heart center. Finding gratitude, saying thank you for whatever it is that you're thankful for today. The unique and bright light in me loves and honors the unique and bright light in you. Thank you so much for showing up this evening, not just for me, but for yourself. And let's bow forward to honor ourselves and one another and end this practice by saying namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. Please hang tight, stay healthy, stay safe, and hopefully we'll be seeing each other soon. Have a great weekend.